is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The health minister says the new COVID rules aren't perfect, but the government's working on some changes. This as the Ministry of Health is concerned about declining vaccination rates. And the National Security Minister says there's no evidence that Bella was sexually assaulted. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Thursday, November 11th, 2021. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be joining us. Also this morning, we will be talking with the Elizabeth Estates Community Association. They have a special event planned for tonight, a candlelight vigil. They'll tell us why. And we've got another drawing of the Bahamas COVID vaccination raffle. And later in Morning Blend Business, we are doing a business news roundup. There's been a lot of little nuggets out there, and we're going to talk about them. That's all straight ahead. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, as he commented on the rules to replace the current state of emergency and accompanying emergency orders, Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville admitted that the rules are not perfect and that the government is currently working on some changes. He said the government has consulted with the business community, churches, and sporting associations, and changes were already being considered to make the rules more palatable. He says their input has been important and that with their input, that's allowed them to make some adjustments to the language in the rules so they can become more palatable, as we said, to people who have to utilize the rules. Darville saying in the House yesterday, quote, "I assure you that today, before we lay the final copies of the rules, they will incorporate additional new feedback from the community. That's why they were laid in time to get the feedback necessary. But the rules will change based on the situation we're confronting." He says the rules are very fluid. Darville says the state of emergency took away civil liberties and that it was important for the government to replace it. The rules come into effect on November 13th, the day the state of emergency expires. The new rules will maintain the mandate to wear masks in public, social distancing protocols, sanitizing requirements, entry requirements into the country, and other restrictive measures currently imposed by the emergency order. Under the rules, the minister shall appoint an advisory committee that will advise him on the epidemiological status of COVID, the implementation of measures to guard against the spread of COVID and manage COVID, and the modification or discontinuation of restrictive measures along with some others. Meanwhile, former Cabinet Minister Michael Pintard saying the government may be unintentionally transferring the powers of the competent authority to the Minister of Health. Pintard speaking during debate on the COVID pandemic bill in the House yesterday. The Ministry of Health is concerned about decreasing uptake of COVID vaccines in recent weeks. Health Minister Darville noting that it signals the need for a change in strategy. He says the Pan American Health Organization is also concerned about this with the numbers in the last 2 to 3 weeks. He says they're beginning to see them fall off, and that, like any responsible government, it's their responsibility to explore all the reasons why that's happening. Darville was responding to Michael Pintard, who raised concerns over the lower vaccination numbers. As of Saturday, November 6th, 136,238 people had been fully vaccinated against COVID, with 269,374 doses of various vaccines. The numbers compared to October 31st, when a total of 263,875 doses had been administered, indicate that the number of doses administered in the first week of November was 5,499. The week before, more than 8,000 doses were administered, and the week before that, more than 10,000. There's no evidence that the 4-year-old girl who died on Friday after she was reportedly assaulted had been sexually assaulted. That's according to National Security Minister Wayne Monroe. Police on Tuesday said that Deania Bella Walker died as a result of blunt force trauma to the body, which resulted in multiple fractures, but they did not address whether there had been any signs of sexual abuse, as was widely speculated on social media. Addressing that question outside Parliament yesterday, Monroe said what was provided was there was no indication of sexual abuse, but he said, quote, the fact of physical abuse to a child is sufficiently bad if it arises to the level of killing the child or injuring the child. Physical abuse on children has lasting impacts on them, and so the fact that there was no sexual abuse, some people may somehow elevate that to some level of importance, but that would cause one to overlook that there was physical abuse to the point of causing the death of the child. And Prime Minister Philip Davis indicating that addressing the marital rape issue won't be a priority item for his government. As he arrived at Parliament, he was asked whether marital rape will be on his administration's agenda. Davis saying, quote, I have too many other things on my agenda to be thinking about. Overseas. The world's top carbon polluters, China and the United States, agreeing to increase their cooperation and speed up action to rein in climate-damaging emissions, signaling a mutual effort on global warming at a time of tension over their other disputes. In back-to-back news conferences at UN climate talks in Glasgow, the Chinese climate envoy and the U.S. counterpart said the two countries would work together to accelerate the emissions reductions required to meet the goals of the 2015 Paris Agreement on climate change. China also agreed for the first time to crack down on methane leaks, following the lead of the Biden administration's efforts to curb the potent greenhouse gas. Beijing and Washington agreed to share technology to reduce emissions. Governments agreed in Paris to jointly cut greenhouse gas emissions enough to keep the global temperature rise well below 2 degrees Celsius or 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit since pre-industrial times, with a more stringent target of trying to keep warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius or 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit preferred. Both sides recognize that there is a gap between efforts taken globally to reduce climate pollution and the goals of the Paris deal. In sports, more from the world of cricket. The Bahamas bowling was shaky for most of the first innings, and Bermuda punished them to amass 239 runs in 20 overs. In the second innings, the Bahamas senior men's national cricket team could not get into a batting rhythm as they finished with just 99 runs for the fall of 8 wickets on 20 overs. In the end, they fell by 140 runs in their third match of the International Cricket Council Men's 2020 America's World Cup qualifiers in Antigua yesterday. The Bahamas' captain, Greg Taylor Jr., won the toss for a third consecutive game and chose to bowl first. But it was not an ideal start for Team Bahamas, as you can read more about this in today's Guardian Sports section. And from the NBA, the LA Lakers rallying late in regulation to hold off the Heat 120 to 117 in overtime last night. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for the first look at weather. In your weather for today, a weakening frontal boundary along with increasing moisture will continue to trigger enhanced weather over portions of the islands as a ridge of high pressure generates moderate to fresh breezes across the country through tonight. Boaters should exercise caution due to the threat of possible waterspout activity. And beachgoers should remain alert due to the risk of rip currents along northern and eastern shorelines. For all areas today, forecast calls for partly cloudy to cloudy, warm and breezy conditions with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, mainly across the central and southeast Bahamas, eventually spreading into the northwest Bahamas by tonight. Showers may be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. For boaters, a small craft caution is in effect. Look for gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. Winds east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet. Temperature-wise, look for highs getting up to around 84 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll tell you more about that cold front that's approaching, coming up in your extended outlook after traffic in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of the
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, wake up.
We are working to protect our country, our people, and our livelihoods so that we can move forward. The vaccine is safe. The vaccine is easy. The vaccine is essential for our recovery. If we want to rebuild our economy, if we want to get back to our jobs, if we want to get back to our lives, our families, we must do this together.
Ben, why are you so nervous about getting the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't know. I've been hearing the doctors, seeing things on social media. One article say this, one story say that, and I don't think I know enough about the vaccine.
Okay, let me help you out. Vaccinated people are less likely to get seriously ill from COVID-19, less likely to be admitted to hospital, and less likely to die from COVID-19.
Kelly, I don't want to end up in hospital.
Ben, the vaccine even provides protection against the new variants of COVID-19, and that's good news.
Kelly, I like how you put it. Thanks. You could help me make my COVID-19 vaccine appointment, please?
Definitely. Don't procrastinate. Vaccinate.
This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health and this radio station.
Technology makes every day in life just a little bit easier. Whether it's for joy, productivity, or creativity, Custom Computers has all the latest gadgets to conquer any obstacle. Imagine automating mundane tasks with tech and living a freer, richer lifestyle, all while staying on top of your goals. The path to freedom could fit in the palm of your hand. Discover tomorrow's technology today at Custom Computers on Patton Street, Cable Beach, and Caves Village through the Blake Road entrance.
What does Christmas mean to you? What about making a loved one's face smile bright or driving your own car? CIBC First Caribbean gives you up to 100% financing on auto loans. Apply online and let our auto financing take you places this Christmas. Visit CIBCFCIB.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Laverne Gardner. Laverne Gardner, good morning.
Good morning, Dwight. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. How are things up there in Grand Bahama?
Things are good. Things are good.
Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. Is it cool there?
Yeah, it is. Well, you know, not this morning so much, but the past mornings have been a little cool. Much better than hot. I don't necessarily like cold either, but, you know.
It's comfortable.
Yes,
Comfortable.
that's the right word. It
So-
is comfortable.
If only it could stay like that for like 6 months.
Ever?
Well, or forever.
For like
or forever.
ever?
At least 6 months a year. That would be.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great? Oh my. Anyway, stranger things have happened. So maybe. Who
Right.
knows? We'll keep our fingers crossed. All right. A lot to get to this morning. You can join the conversation, folks. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and you can email us even, morningblend@nascard.com. Look for Morning Blend 969 on social media. And you can text us on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC, 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Coming up this morning, more weather and traffic. And throughout the morning, we're going to be talking about what's in the news. And later in our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking with the Elizabeth Estates Community Association. They have a vigil planned for tonight, a candlelight vigil. They'll tell us what that's all about. And you're going to want to hear that, definitely. And then we've got another drawing of the Bahamas COVID vaccination raffle. And later in Morning Blend Business News Roundup. We've got a lot going on and little things happening. Little things have been said that we haven't had a chance to get to. We'll talk about the VAT legislation, the VAT bill. We'll talk about what I mean. This is something else. He actually said this out loud. Bank top inspector who said if you're having issues with bank fees, it's your quote own damn fault. Yes,
Wow.
you heard correctly. We'll get to that. We'll get to that coming up a little bit later. And some other things in the business hours. So that's going to be interesting coming up in our 9 o'clock hour. So a lot to get to on this Thursday morning. Let's begin, though, with what else is in the news. And in the news, the big headline in the National Guardian, new COVID rules are not perfect. Government working on some changes. And Michael Pintard speaking in the House yesterday, also saying that, these rules make it look like the health minister will be the new competent authority. Okay. So we're going to get to that in a bit. I just want to say, I think it's amazing when regular citizens, when people call into shows and when the hosts say it too, and they say these things for weeks, but when the minister or a House member gets on the front page, because I think we were saying that from the time the FNM proposed it. Well, look at just making the health minister the competent authority. No, were people saying that from?
Yes, people were saying that, but we don't get credit for it.
No, right.
No. Right. So when we hear it come from the House, it's this new shiny thing, and it's like, oh, what a novel idea.
He's so observant. Oh, no one else saw that. Well, okay.
Or we can take it like this. He is echoing the sentiments of the public.
Yes, but it isn't official until he says it, though.
Right. It doesn't mean anything when you say it or I say it or the hundreds of thousands of people who have said it. It doesn't carry any weight. It's official when the minister says.
Or an
yes.
Yeah, any one of them. Yeah. Okay. Well, so we know where we stand. Where we stand in things.
Exactly. It's not for us to make things official, though. That's the problem. You're overstepping.
Who are we?
Exactly.
Are we? But okay, we'll get to that in a bit. We know what has been on the mind of everybody, it seems, over the past few days, and rightfully so, the death of young Deonya Walker, known as Bella. And there's been a lot of back and forth as to whether she was sexually assaulted. And the police have not said that as yet. They say it's physical assault. Physical assault, which blunt force trauma caused her death, resulting in multiple fractures. The National Security Minister was asked about this yesterday and had some very interesting comments. Take a listen to what he's saying here in this report from our Berthany McDermott.
While police remain tight-lipped, National Security Minister Wayne Munro says there is no evidence to suggest that 4-year-old Bella Walker was sexually assaulted. However, he stressed this in no way diminishes the physical assault that resulted in the little girl's death.
Nothing that I have seen. And what is distressing is this. A young child has been killed, right? Now, I understand the public's appetite for sleaze. But at the end of the day, I'm sufficiently outraged by a young child being killed that I don't require anything additional to be outraged.
Police confirmed late Tuesday night that the 4-year-old died as a result of blunt force trauma to the body, which resulted in multiple fractures. Reports of Bella's death triggered national outrage. Munro said with incidents like this, public outrage eventually fades with no results.
We get outraged, we kick up, and then after a while it goes flat. Marco's alert isn't active. We were all offended by Marco Archer's death. We don't need to insinuate anything more into something than is there. If a child dies, if it's by violence, that is unacceptable. And I don't understand that people don't see that as sufficient.
While there are no reports that Bella was sexually assaulted, House Speaker Patricia DeVos spoke out on the matter.
I am befouled by the complicity of the reprehensible crime of child rape and abuse. And that has sent reverberating shockwaves throughout our moral society. Beautiful Bella was tragically stripped of her innocence and robbed of a future to become a pioneer in our society. As a mother, I am appalled and mortified.
Marco City MP Michael Pintard also condemned the incident and said it's time to send a clear message to perpetrators.
It is a painful thing, the kind of carnage that we have in the Bahamas, in our homes, on our streets. But we continue on as a country almost immune to what is happening. But we have a chance.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Okay, so unlike the comments that he made the other day, I think he is right about this. I'm talking about Wayne Monroe here. The way that Bella died no way diminishes how shocking this is. You're right. So whether it was sexual assault or not, this is outrageous. Just like it was last year when we had another child who was killed, and every year we have an incident like this, and it is outrageous. And he is right. We can't just be mad for a few minutes and move on. But something about the way he says these things. But he puts it in a very unusual way that kind of. But yeah, we have to be outraged no matter what. A child is dead, and even if the child didn't die, the child is assaulted, the child is abused. All of this is infuriating, and we have to be angry, and more than just for a minute.
Absolutely. It's like the minister said. I think maybe it's just his tone, the way that he speaks. But it's like he said, we should be sufficiently horrified, whether there was sexual abuse or not. We should be sufficiently horrified as a community. The minister is now in the position. One of the comments he made was that we get upset, we get, riled up. We talk about this. This is on our lips for a week, maybe two, and then nothing happens. And so the minister is now in an excellent position to make sure that from a legislative point of view, things happen. And we have to, as the public, agitate that things happen. Agitate that the sexual offenders register is published. Because why we protecting sexual offenders? Why do their identities have to be protected? So we have to begin to agitate for these things. And then we look to the minister and other ministers to pass legislation to protect those among us who are vulnerable, who are experiencing whatever sort of abuse that they are experiencing. Mm-hmm. That is part of our responsibility. In addition to, if you see something, say something. I often wonder if abuse has been so intricately woven into our society that we really only have a reaction when it leads to death. Over this past week and last week, I've been listening to reports of people, saying they heard or saw things. And now they're all saying, I wish I should have called. I wish I should have done something. Mm-hmm. And, we will sit down and have discussions amongst ourselves and our families and our homes. Oh my God, this man, and yes, there are men who get abused, but typically, for the sake of this conversation, you hear this man just killing this woman over here or beating this woman, and you know about it and you talk about it, you listen. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, gee, you don't pick up the phone, or you talk about it after the fact. Listen, her boyfriend beat her so bad, or whatever, or her lover, her whatever. And so, I really was thinking about that this week. Has it become so just commonplace? Because it's been going on for however long in this country. And has it become so commonplace that we're not even moved by it until you have something like this, where a beautiful baby has lost her life. And then it invokes a reaction.
We talked about the other day that people know about these things, and but you know what has happened in the past, and people are told, "Hey, you better mind your own business," because obviously she's still there, so it must be working for her, something like that, right? And people have intervened in the past and have ended up getting attacked in many different types of ways, and it's sad. We cannot continue to have this be our reaction, right?
No.
Because at any moment this could end in someone losing their life, as we've seen
Absolutely.
time after time.
Right. And I would say I'm not necessarily advocating you getting physically involved in the sense that you're trying to break something up. But what I am saying is, if you see something, if you're suspicious about something, we gotta call the authorities. Know within yourself that you did what you thought was right, or you did what you would want someone to do if you were in that position, if your child was in that position. So let that kind of guide you. Pick up the phone, call the police, call social services. Listen here, I need y'all to come. There's something going on, whatever. Whether or not the person, if it's an adult, stays in that abusive relationship, we can always argue that, but just know that you did what you could do.
Let's see what you have to say about it, folks. Give us a call. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Now, you probably heard about this. This was on Tuesday. And you heard about it in the news yesterday. A man suspected of sexually assaulting his girlfriend's 12-year-old daughter was stabbed on Tuesday at a home in southwest New Providence. The man, who was later arrested, was allegedly stabbed by his girlfriend. Police say the girl was taken to the hospital for examination. Minister of National Security Wayne Monroe addressed the matter in the House yesterday, calling for action that goes beyond initial outrage. He said this week a mother actually caused physical harm to the molester of her child, and the police reacted to it. We need to be focused, and we need to have something a little more than courage. As that mother physically defended her child, we must cease from just being moved by outrage and, in fact, go past inertia to action. Again, calling for
I agree.
More than talk.
I agree with them, but let me also say that as a community, we can protest, we can make a decision that if we see something, we're going to say something. But again, I go back to it. All of these ministers are in the House right now, and this is the opportunity to put teeth to the protest. You know what I mean? This is an opportunity to put teeth to the out of that the community is experiencing. So what should be happening this week, next week, is we should be hearing legislation, stiffer penalties, whatever. The government putting out initiatives, public-private partnerships, safe houses. These are all things too that can be done for a government level, as well as mobilizing the community. And so we need to work together, right?
Yeah. I want to get to what the police chief had to say about this in just a bit, but let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on Morning Blend.
Good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning.
And to your guest.
Good morning.
I made a recommendation yesterday, and I think I called you to say that I was sorry I didn't call the correct name, but you made the correction for me. Say this is the time now to give those two people who I recommended should be hung.
Did we lose him? What's that?
Hello?
No?
I thought, no.
Okay. All right. Let's listen to what the police chief had to say about this, and urging parents to look out for red flags that point to child abuse or that your child is in danger in somehow. This report from our Giorgio Bain.
When your children come to you and give you these information, don't just dismiss it. Don't just tell them, shut up, you're lying. But look into it for what it's worth.
Police Paul Roll calling on parents to be more vigilant. His comments follow an incident Tuesday evening when the mother of a 12-year-old girl stabbed her boyfriend after she suspected him of sexually assaulting the child. Police also confirmed trauma caused the death of 4-year-old Bella Walker on Friday. Roll says when looking at the extent of the 4-year-old's injuries, he's not sure what the perpetrator was thinking.
Whenever you're dealing with children, it takes on a different connotation. You have innocence. A 4-year-old, I don't know what they were thinking, but to see the extent of the injuries, internal injuries that were caused by the brutal force that was used. And then, of course, again, you heard the one yesterday with the 12-year-old. Some of the younger ones may not be able to speak for themselves.
Roll says parents and guardians need to observe telltale signs.
But if they are hearing, or the kids, these children, are complaining and saying that they don't want to go to the house, I don't want to go by uncle, or I don't want to go by auntie, that should be a red flag. And they should be aware that the fact that they are afraid to go there, something is happening, and something possibly can be happening.
Now, while the police chief is troubled by the two incidents that happened just days apart, he says he'll stay in his lane when it comes to recommending stiffer penalties for the persons committing these crimes.
I'm going to stay in my lane. We in the Royal Bahamas Police Force, we are tasked with investigating these matters. And I want to ensure that my officers do these investigations properly, and we try to get as much answers to the family. We're going to continue with our outreach to see how best we can continue to provide information to members of the public that they'll be able to be sensitized as what this help is there.
Roll also admonishing children in these circumstances not to be afraid to call the police. Reporting for our news, I'm Giorgio Bain.
All right. So, let's get your reaction to this. Again, the numbers to call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. All right, we got a lot of text messages. Let's read these. This one says here, a child dying from assault, physical or sexual, is horrendous. Where did it go? Whoa. Okay, and should not be accepted. So tell me why the Commissioner of Police is tight-lipped on whether or not it's sexual, and the Minister of National Security, a former defense lawyer, is declaring that it's not. Seems suspicious to me. The Commissioner of Police. Well, okay, as the minister said, you all want a very salacious story, but it may not be, right? We know that some rumors are not accurate. And but whether it is or not, does it really matter here? You know that there are children being sexually abused every single day in this country, right? So whether that happened in this case or not doesn't matter. This child is dead. This child is dead. And there are children being sexually abused. The situation is horrible. So that has to be
Let's go with that.
the end of the
Right.
We got to deal with this problem, physical and sexual abuse, right? Yeah. Okay. If you want to read how bad things are, pick up today's Nassau Guardian in the religion section. I know the editor was very concerned about it being so graphic, but Barrington Brennan has a column every week there, and he had a story in there about a little girl's abuse. And in her own words, I guess she's grown now, but writing about what her dad did to her. And it will make you cringe, right? It is, I'm
going to take your word for it because I tend to carry these things. So I don't know if I want to get into all of the details.
Well, there are people enduring that every day. children, and they're now adults and they're
that's
living
it.
with that. And
Yeah.
they're hurt and damaged. And, anyway, okay. This is another text here. Dwight Laverne, I think we finally get a Minister of National Security that will do well on behalf of the people. Great decision by the Prime Minister. Okay. Mr. Monroe needs to remember perception is going to see him as a person who represented two men already charged with child abuse. So his tone is going to sound like he's defending those type of accusers. This one says, seriously, we need to either take away the rights of women or hold them responsible for their choice of partner. What now?
I'm thinking it's with regard to if you are being abused and maybe you have children in that situation and they are being abused. I think maybe that's what the texter was saying.
So
or
that's
if you're
where you
in a
wanna go.
if you're in a relationship with someone who is abusing your children and you aren't saying anything. Maybe that's what.
Those are the only two options we have to deal with these situations. Take away their rights or hold them responsible. The latter one, well, of course, everybody's responsible for their choices.
Absolutely.
But take away their rights, okay. You not mention anything about taking away men's rights. Anyway. Oh, that's interesting stuff there, texter. Okay. The Commissioner of Police reports to the Minister of National Security. So once the National Security Minister speaks, that's what has been reported to him by the Commissioner. Okay, again, hung up on the wrong things still, but that's fine.
Yeah, let's not get distracted by this because, there are a lot of voice notes and rumors and everything going around. When people speaking with quote unquote reliable sources, people who know, people who whatever.
I saw somebody yesterday.
Horrified.
Somebody was saying yesterday, I know nurses, and the nurses told me.
Right, and it as sad as it is, we have an appetite, as I like. We want to hear what and oh my. But as the minister said, the fact that this baby has lost her life, blunt force trauma. Because I'm sticking with what was told to us from the minister. Unless a professional who in the coroner's office comes out and refute point blank, this is what we know officially. And this should be more than enough. And like you said, Dwight, even if sexual abuse was not present in this particular incident or did not lead to Bella's death, like you said, we know that it's happening in homes.
Absolutely. Maybe even right at this moment, right? So be outraged about that.
Yeah, let's continue to be outraged. Let's continue to advocate. Let's not, you mentioned earlier that last year, and I realized that because, I was doing something and I looked at this letter that I had a guest on. I wanted someone from the police force on my show, and I'd written a letter last year inviting one of their officers to come on my show and talk about sexual abuse of minors. That was, Dwight, literally almost a year ago. Because another one of these incidents has happened.
Yeah.
And so we have to ask ourselves, from then to now, what is different?
I mean,
From
there's
then to now.
a court article about that stuff almost every day in the paper. The insides of the paper. Every day, this is rampant in the country.
Let's, let's put pressure on our members of parliament. Let's put pressure and say, you know what? This is what we want. This is what we want.
Yeah.
All
right,
let's get legislation.
Let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air. Okay. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Is there another call there? No? All right. Behemoths must be conditioned to... Oh, yep. Yes. Good morning, caller. You're on there.
Morning, Brother Dwight. How are you?
Doing well.
And Madam Palm.
This is Laverne. Laverne.
Laverne, sorry, I'm very sorry. I apologize. I
It's
sympathize
okay.
with all of each and every one as to the social disorder that is going on in this country. Even me. They are not my relatives, but they all are Bahamians. You know, Dwight, I want to thank you for allowing me to spread my message. But you know, I am not surprised because, you know, I see it, you can feel it. Even Blind Blake, I don't know if you're old enough to know Blind Blake, from the grave can see the social disorder. The traditional values, family values that we once had is no longer with us. The family structure, my message, it's eroded. And this is where it's coming from. This behavior comes from the home. But we have this belief that politics can fix it. There's another brother who likes to talk about greed, believe greed can fix this. And we have this belief that, oh, it will never happen to me. My brother, this spirit is all over. Watch it on TV. This is real. And while we talk and we use theory, etc., we have to return back to some of them old traditional values. I'm not saying all, but some of those old traditional values that wake in our forefathers' time, wake, and they can wait for us. Grandparents don't want to be grandparents no more. Mothers don't want to be mothers no more. Fathers don't want to be children. Why go ahead and yourself to support a selfish itch you have and know that you're not ready for responsibility for children? I am baffled by that. And this is where the social disorder of the family structure is eroded. Have a wonderful day.
Oh, before you go, which values are you talking about? Which ones specifically? Which ones? Tell some of the values that you feel need to come back.
Dwight, the village. The village. When I was a boy, I had two uncles seminary trained. But they had the community and Exuma and BT, we call it BT, together. Let me. There were no, I can't remember. I don't know if you're familiar with Exuma. There's a bridge now that connects us to the mainland. It was put there in the 80s. My two uncles were they were police and pastors. Any unrest in the community, the Reverend A.A. McKinsey and the both late past, my father brothers, they addressed the issue in the community. And I believe Miss Gardner, Laverne Gardner, will say the same as in Freeport. That was some of the old traditional. I can't remember seeing no police until late. And they resolved that. They bring folk together and they resolve the issue. That was one of the traditional values I remember. I remember the next traditional values that I remember. Children doing their homework. As school finished in the evening, there were no. Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
There were no time for idle hands. Someone in the community will get you, and they will ask you, "Do you have anything to do?" Because they know that was time for you to end up to doing your homework. And regardless to any one child, people could question today. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. You cannot discipline children. Where my petty store is on Robinson Road, I thank God for somehow the pandemic. But I mean, during school hours, I am between two schools, Aaron Bailey and C.H. Reed. And Dwight is almost like 3 o'clock. It's a war zone. It used to be a war zone. People have, when they're passing up there, they have to be very careful with stones throwing, bottle throwing, etc. And I'm almost 70 now. I mean, You can imagine my 5 grandchildren behaving that way. That's animalistic. That's an animalistic behavior. Where did that come from? The home.
Now, you are absolutely correct. Now, I just want to say,
Yes.
now that's been happening there since I was a child.
Right.
And so these aren't new problems.
I agree.
We've been losing our way for decades, right?
Yes.
Those 2 schools especially. And there are many schools like that. So it's been 40, 50 years since we started falling down. And what are we going to do? Many have been saying these things. And,
let me say this, Dwight.
And some of those things you talked about are indeed happening in some people's homes, but it's not widespread. So what is the difference and what are we going to do about it?
Listen to me. I'm sorry. I take that back. Let me make this point. You know, sometimes it appears to me like folk is saying they want the politicians and the commissioner. I listened to the commissioner on your show a moment ago. Like they want them babysit your children. When I got married, I wanted my children. I cannot sleep without me knowing where my children are. I have 2 beautiful girls. I know that from a child. I was taught that by my 2 uncles. When my father met my mother, that was structure in place at the same time. So what I know that children are children, and I guess what I am somewhat neglect because I put success and a career in some way, you know, before that, you know, in front of my children, and that's another spirit. We have to be careful. We believe things can raise children. Things don't raise children. Time raise children. Children need love, time, and love raise children. Not things, designer clothes, the land belt, etc. They don't raise no children. Big house don't raise children. This is why Harry leave right now with all that wealth, because he's trying to find love. That's what raised children. And they need to be told that they are loved. And then the spirit of deception. Some uncle don't know how to love. Some auntie don't know how to love. They're waiting there like a snake in the grass to molest the child.
Yeah. Okay.
So
we've got to do better.
The village as I knew, we have to find a way to connect the village back. And we need our programs. We need programs. We need programs to restore programs back in place to help, because some of these children are dying from one simple thing: is love.
Yeah.
My eldest granddaughter, my eldest grandbaby was 10 yesterday.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I hope she had a great birthday. Very important. Now, sadly, when it comes to sexual abuse, it's a different story, though. I mean, there are people who have what seems like amazing homes, and all those things are happening, right? And they're being sexually abused. And so these are complex matters. Some things are always going to seem.
And there's no one perfect solution.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if we all decide that we have zero tolerance for sexual abuse, for physical abuse, verbal abuse, you name it. If we all adopt an attitude that is zero tolerance, we put pressure on legislators to enact laws that protect the vulnerable, that protect people who are in this situation, that punish. It's a start.
Yeah.
It's an inroad.
Let's take some more calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning, Dwight and Laverne. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning.
Awesome. You know, Dwight, culture plays a very, very pivotal role in the way we live today in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. You know, we're in a state where we almost have 2 nations in one. And in one of these nations, it is a culture that when a young lady becomes 10 years old, that she's considered a woman, and There's a lot of things but I just don't want to say it on the air because, my father is a pastor, and, he had told him what they do with the young girls when they turn 10 and how they pass them down the family line and stuff of that nature.
And what did he do?
Say again?
What did he do when they told him this?
Well, he, as a pastor, he counseled them. He told them the right way, letting them know that that is not of God. And within teaching them what is right and what is wrong and all like that, he took them under his wings and he mentored them. Because this young lady, she had must be 5 kids, and she was telling my dad, how, it started with how she went through it and how her sisters went through it, and she talked about how she have generations that has went through that same thing, and it was really sad in culture, and it is a very strong culture, and like I said, we have 2 nations in one right now, and it seems like that other nation's culture is starting to dominate what we know is the culture of the Bahamas, which we know from coming up, man. Me and my cousins were talking just the other day about how we came up as family, how we were so protective of each other and how we loved each other. No one could have born, and it's just sad that all of that seems to have gone out of the way now. And like another culture is dominating in this country right now, one that we can almost not get a control of, and it is sad, I even want to say at one point we had guidance counselors in schools who used to identify when something was wrong with a child, and they talked to the child until they found on in the home, and then either the guidance counselor and the police went to the home or whatever. All of that is out of the window now. It's like we just don't care anymore. We're living a life where every man is for himself, and it's all about survival now, and it is just sad that we're going where we're going in this life right now. I really love the old Bahamas back in the early 70s, early 80s, and it was when family mattered. But now we're in the 21st century, and it just seemed like children have to defend for themselves. If you look in the roads today, you see children doing school hours running up and down the road, up like nobody is raising them. Nobody cares about them. They're just out there raising themselves, getting into whatever, experiencing whatever, going through whatever, and it is sad, Dwight.
Thanks, caller. I see, at first we didn't know where you're going, but we see where you went with that. If you want to believe that these things didn't exist before the other culture became prominent here, well, then you're sadly mistaken. And also, I think your relative did not do the right thing there. Not at all. I don't know if he only counseled the men, but he should have alerted the authorities. I'm sorry, and that those poor women, those poor girls.
He did because his brother-in-law was a CID back then. His brother-in-law was a CID, and they took the matter to the police, and they did deal with it. No, but he didn't counsel the
what
men.
happened?
He counseled the children, and the woman and her children. He counseled them. He didn't counsel the men, but he did speak to his brother, who was a CID, who did take the matter in hand. And I remember clearly that there were some people arrested over it.
Okay. Yeah. Disturbing. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Wow. Boy. Good morning, caller. Are you there? No. Okay. Let's get to some of these messages before we take a break.
If you'd like.
Okay. Bahamians must be conditioned to speak out, and the various law enforcement agencies must be conditioned to immediately respond, and the laws need to be enacted to stop the sexual abuse at all ages and genders. Stop talking, lawmakers, do your job. Kudos to that mother who defended her daughter, because I would do the same. Lots of talk every day. When are you going to use your show to propel some of the initiatives to happen? You need to. Okay. Yep. It's us. So everyone will be up in arms because of what the gentleman from Central Bank had to say, when we all know he's telling the truth. We'll get to that in a bit. I'm not sure if the way he said it is the right way to approach that, but we'll get to that in a bit. Another one here. I wish to draw your attention to the D word used by your newspaper and yourself. What are we talking about here? If I had written that word in the context, in the text to you, you would be, so you're getting upset. Oh, Lord of mercy. This is what we're talking about. This is the whole issue in the country right now.
Just go on to the next. Don't even. What's the next text? I'm sure you have more text. So let's just continue, because we'll just leave that right there. Let's not go any further with that one.
It's just insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, is the minister above the commissioner in making a statement? Oh my goodness. Okay. Another one here. I recommend that you devote 15 minutes once a week to read domestic violence court cases that appear in the papers. I'd sponsor it. This is a tangible way to sensitize the public about what's really going on in our country. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you think about that, Laverne?
Let's explore it. Because one of two things can happen. It can initially shock, and then it still turns around, and they're like, "Oh, that's action again." Oh, they always do that. You know what I mean?
That weird show in the morning when people are having breakfast, they always reading this stuff.
It can go two ways. It can go two ways. It can have that shock value initially, but then it can also turn. It's just like, because it's just, oh, they do that. It then becomes, oh, he does this every whatever.
Yeah, and then Morning Blend is a perverted show that's always talking about it. Yeah. Anyway, okay, but I hear you.
Text and we're gonna keep it moving. Yeah. We're going to keep it moving.
This one says, to the caller who keeps calling saying that we need to return to those traditional values of the past, it's these same values that have bred the silence and lack of willingness to take action. Ask Bella how not sparing the rod worked out. I mean, I think you're reaching, but...
yeah, there are some things that there are... We have to admit that there are some things that helped to keep the community. But there, even in the tradition, things didn't work because part of the tradition was also silent. You know, part of the tradition was, in a lot of cases, abuse that they recount their stories. Like, you know, quickly, I was talking with a friend and, you know, just kind of sharing things, and they're talking about what their parents experienced at the hand of their grandparents, and, you know, just very casually talking about it. And I'm saying to myself, not to myself, I said to them, I said, you know, that's abuse, right? No, like that's abuse.
Yeah.
And so, excuse me, there's no one perfect solution. There's no one solution, but there are things that we can look at. We can look at and say, you know what, this helped to keep the sense of community. This, you know, he didn't really go into it, but it really does take a village to raise a child. And some of us can talk about stories where intervention saved us, where that caring teacher noticed that something was off and, you know, hey, talk to us. So, you know, there are some things that worked, and then there are some things that a toxic culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's important for us to be able to navigate through that and just not dismiss everything, traditional values as we call it, but look through it and see how we could improve on it, make those things better that work, and go from there. But again, like I say, it's just up to all of us to do whatever we need to do so that we don't continue to have these conversations, so that the generous texter doesn't have to sponsor a show once a month where we're reading all of these horrific things.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's gonna take involvement from everyone. That's gonna take the legislators doing their part, and that's gonna take us as a community doing our part.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know which type of host who would want to read that every day.
I can just tell you, Dwight, I wouldn't be here for it.
No.
I can't. And not because I don't care, but like I
not
told
because
you
just can't take it.
I carry that. I carry these things, and so woo. But I understand the point of
yes, absolutely.
I understand the point of what they're saying, why they're saying it, where it's coming from.
But I like that you're thinking. Keep thinking. We'll come up with some other ways. But And this text here, oh boy. The problem is 80% of the women in the Bahamas are single or single parents. So any no good man she'll shack up with and not know the danger she will put her family in. Woman, find yourself a good, accomplished man.
That's just like really so easy to text. So to all the single ladies out there who are single parents, apparently you just go find yourself. I don't know if they keep them all together at a particular place.
The good man store.
Which department store you can find them out, but go to a department store and look in the aisle for the good man, good accomplished man section.
Right.
Again, I guess I understand the spirit of what you're saying, but that isn't always the resolution. What do you do? Let me ask the text of this. So how do we address the issue if you have that single parent and they're the one who's being violent to the children? How does a good, accomplished, educated man help that?
Right. And don't be fooled.
May it be an abuser?
Are the ones abusing.
Right. They may be an abuser because, like you said, it isn't always the case. There are people who from the outside came from perfect homes. And then it's only as they begin to share their story or if something happens, you find out that they've lived with years of abuse. So, what is the educated, accomplished man who's a perv? How does that help?
Oh, boy. Let's go to the break. We'll pick this up on the other side. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
In man, there's no solution. I'm begging for the children's future. Oh, Jah, drugs got them by the collar. How can we stop this mind pollution? Why must we carry this load? Too many starving and too many hungry. Too many homeless. It seems like there's no. Why must we carry this load? Too many big shots and too much connections. Too many loopholes in Babylon system. Oh, yeah, how can your children go? How many more?
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Bank. In your real-time traffic, we've got Mile Butler Highway. Heavy traffic, as usual this hour, from Fire Trail all the way up to Tawny Gwims Darling Highway. That's the northbound lanes. Backed up on Fire Trail as well, eastbound to the roundabout with Mile Butler Highway. Gladstone Road also busy for you. Just north of Fire Trail, you'll encounter that traffic in the northbound lane up to JFK Drive. Carmichael eastbound building traffic to Blue Hill Road. And westbound as well, we've got some building to heavy traffic heading west toward Coral Harbor Road. Cowpen Road and Zion Boulevard, that intersection there, looking busy with Blue Hill Road. Traffic backed up in both directions, east and westbound there. And then further up on Blue Hill Road, we've got heavy traffic north of Soldier Road. As you make that approach to the Independence Drive roundabout, traffic is building on Independence Drive westbound and eastbound as well to the East Street East-West Highway roundabout. Building traffic on East Street south of that roundabout at this hour. And north of the roundabout as you approach Robinson Road and the intersection there. In Eastern New Providence, we're seeing traffic building on Eastern Road, westbound, and pockets along Prince Charles Drive. And pockets along Bernard Road at this hour. We'll have another real-time report for you after the 8 o'clock news. That's your Morning Blend Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, Banking Reimagined. And we've got another check of your weather. For this morning, we've got a weakening frontal boundary along with increasing moisture that's going to continue to trigger enhanced weather over portions of the islands as a ridge of high pressure generates moderate to fresh breezes across the country through tonight. For all areas today, your forecast calls for partly cloudy to cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, mainly across the central into the northwest Bahamas by tonight. Showers may be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Small craft caution in effect. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. Boaters should be alert for the threat, the water spout threat. And beachgoers should be alert due to the risk of rip currents along northern and eastern shorelines. It's about 79 degrees right now under mostly cloudy skies in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 84 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook, prefrontal troughing will generate shower and thunderstorm activity across the country as a cold front approaches the area through to the weekend. So for Friday tomorrow, expect cloudy to occasionally overcast conditions, warm and humid with widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms in the northwest and central Bahamas, cloudy, partly cloudy and warm with a few isolated showers in the southeastern Bahamas. In the tropics, you've got a storm force non-tropical area of low pressure about several hundred miles northeast of Bermuda, and it has a 50% chance of tropical cyclone formation through the next 5 days. The system will continue to move northeasterly across the northern Atlantic. That's your Morning Blend weather check. We'll be back with more Morning Blend after these messages here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
RBC Rewards Visa Platinum Credit Card. Apply by December 31st and receive 20,000 welcome points. Enjoy multiple ways to redeem your RBC rewards, including My Way Travel Credit, Cashback Credit, gift cards, and much more. Apply today at your nearest branch or rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Rewards and experience holiday joy with RBC. Conditions apply.
We are working to protect our country, our people, and our livelihoods so that we can move forward. The vaccine is safe. The vaccine is easy. The vaccine is essential for our recovery. If we want to rebuild our economy, if we want to get back to our jobs, if we want to get back to our lives, our families, we must do this together.
Technology makes every day in life just a little bit easier. Whether it's for joy, productivity, or creativity, Custom Computers has all the latest gadgets to conquer any obstacle. Imagine automating mundane tasks with tech and living a freer, richer lifestyle, all while staying on top of your goals. The path to freedom could fit in the palm of your hand. Discover tomorrow's technology today at Custom Computers on Patton Street, Cable Beach, and Caves Village through the Blake Road entrance.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
With BTC Business's new smart solutions powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
Hello? Yes, it's time. I know, a lot sooner than we thought. Well, that's thanks to those returns from my RF mutual funds. You know they have some of the best performing funds in the market. Yup, with what I've been earning, I can finally set a date for my product launch. Draft the paperwork, I'm on my way.
Reach your financial goals sooner with RF Mutual Funds. Sign up by November 29th for a chance to win $1,000. Find out more at rfgroup.com. RF, money at work.
This is Guardian Radio 90 Bahamas.
Sing whoa. Hear my plea, oh dear. A song for my land.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner on this Thursday morning. We are having a discussion about what's in the news, talking about child abuse and physical abuse in general. And I guess it's coming down to unhealthy relationships, including family relationships. A lot of things are coming out this morning. Let's read some of your text messages here. Somebody says, tell the caller who called before about the family, this is the other guy. The other guy who called about what a relative told him that certain people do to their daughters when they reach 10. Mm-hmm. Tell him the pastor did the same act as the male guidance counselor did the same act because it happened to my sister. Who can we really turn to for help? Oh, boy. Okay. The caller who spoke about another culture's influence needs to understand that girls used to marry at 13 years old here in the Bahamas. We are so simple with how we think. This one says, I have an odd theory. Almost every society took women's rights away because they recognized how critical female choice in mate was to society. What now? What? Really? We don't take away men's rights? What happens to men who abuse when the police are called? I know it is a difficult subject, but women choose, and the source of the problem is her choice. Dwight, people are missing a strong point. What could come from little Bella's incident? When will the government pass laws holding parents accountable? Because if you notice the circumstances leading to Bella's dying, it was child neglect, a child being neglected. I'm sure many parents will fly with attention. It lies. Some words are getting mixed up there, clearly. But, well, hey, there's no law preventing parents from being held accountable. And, right, we just need the courage to charge the parents.
Absolutely.
Right? You could charge them with neglect, charge them with endangering, all kinds of things. You can
do that. And there have been times when that's happened. I've known of people who have had to go to court, who've had to go and get counseling for parenting styles and the way that they've parented. And there have been children who have been removed from homes because of abuse and neglect. And so, clearly there are laws in place. There are parameters by which we can work in to see some of these things being done. And, it may be a hard stand to take, but I feel, Dwight, that everyone who knew something and didn't do anything is responsible.
Yeah.
Anyone, any and everyone.
This one says here, number one, not everyone believes the Bible, but it has some pretty key insights. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. Love of money has given us incompetent political candidates who run contracts. They have no skills. So what happens? And they go on to say, number two, over 50 years, every single institution has failed, every one, because money-loving political parties push money-loving, unethical, and incompetent people to the forefront. Decades upon decades of money-loving seat warmers in Parliament. That's what caused Bella's death. Wow. Okay. Well, I don't know if it caused it, but it definitely doesn't help the situation.
No, it doesn't. And then we all have to look in the mirror because our inactivity, our our not putting pressure on legislators about these things. These are the things that matter. These are the things that are important. And us not saying, you want my vote? This is what I need to see happen. If you want my continued support, we need to see stronger legislation. Somebody needs to explain to me how this act, this Marco Arches act is still not working or doing what it's supposed to do. And so it's going to take us holding their feet to the fire. So it isn't just the love of money, it's our passivity as well. You know.
Yeah, it's everybody. We all
It's
failed.
everybody.
We
It's
all failed.
of our fault. And
Her
that's the
and
thing.
all of these children, everybody who's being abused.
And you know,
still.
so let's, rather than just sitting in the guilt of it, or you know, figuring out who all we should blame, what can we do with this energy right now that we're feeling? What positive thing can we do that will bring about change?
Gotta go to the news. We'll pick this up on the other side. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio. Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. And now, day 23, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got a weakening frontal boundary along with increasing moisture that's going to continue to trigger some shower activity over the islands as a ridge of high pressure will generate moderate to fresh breezes across the country through tonight. Boaters should exercise caution due to the threat of rip currents and water spout activity. Beachgoers also should be alert of the rip current threat, especially along northern and eastern shorelines. For all areas today, forecast is warm and breezy with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, mainly across the central and southeast Bahamas, eventually spreading into the northwest Bahamas by tonight. Showers may be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Small craft caution in effect. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near showers and thunderstorms. Temperature-wise today, highs getting to around 84 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook, prefrontal troughing will generate shower and thunderstorm activity across the Bahamas as a cold front approaches the area throughout the weekend. And so for Friday, look for cloudy to occasionally overcast, warm and humid conditions with widespread showers and thunderstorms. Saturday, cloudy, warm and humid with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms in the northwest and central Bahamas. Partly cloudy and warm with a few isolated showers in the southeast Bahamas. In the tropics, we're watching a small storm force, non-tropical area of low pressure located several miles east and northeast of Bermuda. Has about a 50% chance of tropical cyclone formation through the next 5 days. That system is moving northeasterly across the northern Atlantic. No threat to us. But that is your Morning Blend weather check. Brought to you by Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us. And we've got another check of your traffic for this morning. Let's head from east to west. How about that? In your real-time traffic, we've got Eastern Road heavy traffic from Sans Souci all the way up to Johnson Road, that's heavy in the westbound direction. Prince Charles Drive, and as you approach the intersections, the major intersections like Fox Hill and Beatrice Avenue. Elsewhere, we've got Independence Drive, mainly westbound traffic, heavy traffic as you approach that roundabout with Blue Hill Road, and East Street south of that roundabout with East West Highway. Independence Drive, mainly in the northbound lanes heading toward the roundabout. Then we've got Blue Hill Road, busy as usual this hour, north of Soldier Road in the northbound lanes, and along the whole stretch there, especially near Carmichael Road and St. Vincent Road. Further south, the intersection with Zion Boulevard and Cowpen Road, very heavy traffic, especially westbound on Zion Boulevard. Then we've got Milo Butler Highway, very heavy this morning, well south of Fire Trail in the northbound lanes up to Tawny Williams Darling Highway. Fire Trail's backed up as well, eastbound to the roundabout. And Gladstone Road northbound to JFK Drive, you're going to be seeing heavy traffic there. Carmichael Road westbound, also very heavy traffic heading to Coral Harbor Road. So lots of issues this morning. Good luck to you. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert.
Do you need to insure your vehicle at the best price? With the most options and free installment payments, CG Atlantic agents offer affordable coverage for everyone. Just call 677-6422 to find out how you can protect your vehicle with extra options to keep you covered. Why wait? Call CG Atlantic agents today at 677-6422. Visit us online at cgatlanticagents.com or in person at Atlantic House, 2nd Terrace and Collins Avenue. Nassau Insurance Brokers and Agents Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Agents.
When engaging in physical activity, it is normal for the body to get tired and fatigued. Same way, COVID-19 has brought on fatigue, but we must not give up the fight. Wear your mask over your mouth and nose, stay at least 3 feet apart from others, wash and sanitize your hands often, and avoid touching your face. Together, we will win.
This message is brought to you by the PAHO WHO Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Country Office, the Ministry of Health, and the Healthy Bahamas Coalition.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Shanae's Chesapeake Road Christmas Wonderland is open under the Big Tent. Get your Christmas trees in pink, frosted, green, or white in a variety of sizes. Musical Christmas, a large variety of tree ornaments, lighted angels and Santa tree toppers, bright and lively colored Christmas balls in all sizes, garlands, wreaths, tree skirts, stockings, and lots more. Add flowers, picks, and decorative mesh to brighten up your home or office this holiday season. And don't forget the toys at Janae's Chesapeake Road. Check our selections online at www.janae's.com.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
There ain't no gold in this river that I've been washing my hands in forever. I know there is hope in these waters.
Back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong, along with Laverne Gardner. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking. They have a special event for tonight, and they're going to tell us all about that in just a couple of minutes. Laverne and I, we are talking about what's in the news. I've been talking about getting your reaction to child abuse and physical abuse in the country. And I just want to read a couple more of your messages. We didn't get into what the health minister is saying about the COVID rules, but they're saying they are fluid, they're not perfect, and they're being tweaked. The more reaction that they hear, they are addressing them, and that there will be changes when needed. And so I guess, we had a lot to talk about yesterday on this or the day before. And so we hope they're listening. All right, so this text came in. This person says here, people need options, somewhere to live, financial help, etc. This makes it a little bit easier to leave an abusive situation. Okay. Wow. Oh, wow. I know you don't want me to read this on the air. Okay. Whoa. This one here says, this is why corporal punishment needs to be made illegal and carry a heavy charge. This is scary. That woman stabbed a guy because she suspected he sexually assaulted her child. Will she be charged with assault and attempted murder? If it is determined that he didn't, and he assaults that woman back the same or another way, can we blame him? Will he still be the bad guy? Let's protect our children, but not at the cost of rights and protections of men. Protections of anybody who is doing something, whether it's a man or a woman, yeah. You raised some interesting points. She claims she caught it in the act. But it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that in the court.
Well, Dwight, just with regards to that case, I was watching another news show last night, and the host had to bring clarification and explained that the actual story was that the mother came home and her daughter was acting suspiciously on a way that raised some concerns to her mind, and when she questioned her daughter then alleges that this is what happened, and that is when she flew into a rage and did what she did. So that was the clarification last night
that actually
of the story from a news daily.
That makes it worse. That makes the story scarier.
Right, so.
Because you're going on what you're told as opposed to what you saw. Anyway, okay. Well, anyway, it's going to be interesting for the courts to deal with that one there.
Right. And of course, we're in a perfect world, in a perfect society, of course, that is not the ideal way to go at it. But, as a mom, as a parent, that may have just have been a knee-jerk reaction to hearing what she's heard. So I'm not saying it's the right act, but, people do things in anger. And what do we say? Hindsight is 20/20.
Oh, okay. Well, hindsight is 20/20 when you shouldn't have acted like that.
Of course. Things happen in the heat of the moment. It may not have been your intention to kill the person or to do the extent of damage that you did. But let's not, discount that there is some, sometimes you react a certain way that, isn't necessarily the right way because of the heat of the moment. I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying realistically that does happen sometimes.
Right. Well, yeah.
Everybody doesn't have that kind of reaction where it's like, what? Okay, let's go. Let me take you to get checked out. Let me go to the police station and file a report.
This is true. Let's look at this. I know we have to go, but this, we mentioned it earlier in the news, and This is really interesting, Laverne. All right, so you heard me say this. The Prime Minister Davis was asked about this yesterday. He was asked about marital study that's getting a lot of attention, the University of the Bahamas study. And Prime Minister Davis was asked about this. He indicated that addressing the marital rape issue won't be a priority item for his government. As he arrived at Parliament, he was asked whether marital rape will be on his administration's agenda. Davis replied, "I have too many other things." This is a quote. "I have too many other things on my agenda to be thinking about." He then walked away. Before you say anything, so that, right, just moments ago, a tweet, you all know Trey Ramming, he tweeted out, Prime Minister Davis supports the penalization of or criminalization of marital rape. Managing our economic crisis and health crisis are critical priorities for the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has an experienced team of cabinet ministers who will tackle other important issues.
You're just trying to, that right there, that statement is a cleanup. That's all that is.
Very, very clean.
He said what he said. Mm-hmm. And you can then go back and try to fix that. But the Prime Minister said what he said. They have other more pressing issues. They have other things than this.
And they will deal with those. He is going to be focused on the economy.
No. You're responding to what Mr. Ramming said.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Nowhere in what you quoted the statement, well, I may not be specifically dealing with this, the issue of marital rape. I do have other ministers who is focusing on this and putting into legislation. No. In Bahamian vernacular, I got more important things to do. I ain't got time for this. And then all the cleanup came afterward. So I'm going to go with that first response and say that is your feeling, not with your publicist or whomever comes back afterward. That was your feeling. That's what came from you.
Wow.
But we have guests, right? And so we don't really have the time to fully explore what that may be an indication of how we view our wives as our property.
Oh, dear.
And their body. And as such, we figure that even if we force ourselves, we don't consider that rape because we don't really understand the true meaning of rape and that it can occur within a marriage. We're not ready to have that very serious, honest conversation. So you know what? I'm going to stop right there because you know.
Well, and we definitely do need to continue to talk about it, and we have to. This text as we get ready to go to the break. In a perfect world, no one should be abusing or molesting anyone. Yes, that is very true. Very true. All right, so let's take a break. When we come back, our guests this is very timely indeed. They are from the Elizabeth Estates Community Association, and they're holding a tribute to lives lost to violence in the Elizabeth Estates community. We're going to talk to them about that in just a bit. Stay with us. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
That I've been washing my hands in forever.
What does Christmas mean to you? What about the joy and satisfaction you get in starting the home projects you've wanted to do all year? CIBC First Caribbean helps you make your Christmas wishes come true with easy and flexible financing on personal loans. Apply online and smile all the way this holiday season. Visit CIBCFCIB.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply.
Physical distancing isn't the same as being socially distant. I know that sometimes it can be a bit difficult not being able to engage in the in-person social activity, going to the movies, or just hanging out in person. But remember that different does not mean distant. As the generation of technology, we can get creative in planning virtual parties with friends and family. Play online games with friends. Plan virtual family parties. Start a cooking competition among cousins, or do a virtual dance party. If you do gather in person, however, remember to avoid gathering in large groups. Always ensure that you wear your mask to cover your mouth and nose. And remember, wash and sanitize your hands often.
This message is brought to you by the PAHO WHO Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Country Office, the Ministry of Health, and the Healthy Bahamas Coalition.
Wendy's and Coca-Cola are back with $45,000 worth of upgrades for you. Upgrade your premium lunch combo to a large or purchase a large salad and a Coke product and get your scratch card for a chance to win thousands of prizes instantly. You can win a PlayStation 5, plane tickets with spending money, weekend hotel stays, an iMac, iPads, iPhone 13, tool sets, washer and dryer set, and thousands more prizes. Visit Wendy's Facebook page for more details on the Upgrade My Life promotion. Rules and restrictions apply.
Best rate, no delays. Best rate, no delays.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy up to 150 megabits per second plus 157 TV channels and unlimited home phone minutes for only $99.99.
Best rate, no delays.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network. Conditions apply.
Hello? Yes, it's a lot sooner than we thought. Well, that's thanks to those returns from my RF mutual funds. You know they have some of the best performing funds in the market. Yup, with what I've been earning, I can finally set a date for my product launch. Draft the paperwork, I'm on my way.
Reach your financial goals sooner with RF Mutual Funds. Sign up by November 29th for a chance to win $1,000. Find out more at rfgroup.com. RF, money at work.
For 38 years, Strachan Commercial Pest Services has provided trained certified technicians while using environmentally safe, industry-standard products. Pests can devastate your business. Together, we will ensure adequate sanitation standards and safe pest exclusion methods. Uncontrolled pest problems lead to significant financial loss due to food contamination, business disruption, and stock waste. Strachan provides detailed solutions protecting your business and reputation. Strachan, #1 in pest control services.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Now or ever.
Don't leave her alone. We must show concern. Trinbago is in danger.
We must heed this redemption call. Our country needs us all together forever.
We must fight this fight till we make things right, and the land is healed by the truth revealed.
For in faith and prayer.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And changing gears slightly, it's related to what we've been talking about most of the morning. Violent Watch Council, along with the Elizabeth Estates Community Association, they're holding a prayer vigil tonight in Elizabeth Estates. Here to talk to us about this, very pleased to welcome Sergeant Deantia, I hope we got your name right, Coakley, and the president of the Elizabeth Estates Community Association, Kendrick Dames, and Vice President Kendall Lewis.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Hope that I got everybody there. That's all I see. Great to have you all with us.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, so let's start with you, Kendrick Dames, president of the Elizabeth Estates Community Association. Tell us a little bit about your association, and then we'll get into why this event is happening. Tell us about yourselves.
Well, good morning, Bahamas. The Elizabeth Estates Community Association was birthed out of the need, the necessity. We saw that there were great needs within the community, and we thought we'd put together an association to adequately address those needs. It was actually started by two two residents of the community, longtime residents, Mr. Anthony Brown and Mr. Shelton Burrows. And they came together with the vision, and they said that, we need to put together an association that can adequately address, needs that is happening within the community. And along with Mr. Clinton Minnis, they drafted all of the necessary documents and got the association registered. And here we are.
Yep. Again, how long has it been?
It's been 3 years, from 2018.
Okay. All right. Wonderful stuff. So now, prayer vigil in tribute to the lives lost to violence in Elizabeth State. So let's talk about that. What's been happening? Why did you feel this was important?
I think for far too long we have become sort of desensitized to murders, and we need to, as a community, as a country, by large, we need to get to the point where this doesn't become normal to us. Murder can never be normal. It can never be something that we accept as a community and as a country. And I know I've been doing some studies from the year 2000. We've been plagued with a pandemic of murders has been skyrocketing in this country. But we have decided, Dwight, that the Elizabeth Estate community is saying that enough is enough. And I don't want to sound cliche, and it's been said numerous times again, but Dwight, enough is enough, and we're going to address this adequately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you been seeing specifically in Elizabeth States a rise in these incidents of late?
Well, unfortunately, in the past 5 months, yes, we've been having some incidents where I'm sure you guys would have heard this within the constituency. Very, very, very disturbing. And I live in the community, and these are guys that I know, I grew up with, so it's really difficult, it's really difficult to deal with it. It's really difficult to, even stomach it. But this is why we're putting together this prayer vigil. We believe that God is still at the center of all things, and we believe prayer changes things, and we're going to start there.
Yeah. Sergeant Coakley, we've been talking about it. People, especially in light of what's been happening with children in our community, people saying, are the members of the public speaking up enough? Do they come to the police enough? And are they confident that when they do, that they will get the results? What are you seeing as you are on the front line with this?
In some instances, you have persons who would rely on the police, and then you have some persons who would tend to take things in their own hands. Some persons don't trust the process. They feel that it takes too long to get their justice. But in all things, it's a process. You have to make sure that you have the accurate information and enough evidence to support before you could actually proceed. So we would ask the public to just bear with us. I know sometimes because of the pain of the situation, they tend to feel that nothing is being done. But to avoid matters being thrown out of court, or, to have some inside influence or outside influence to try to change the case, we would ask you, allow us to do what we need to do in order for you to get the proper justice.
Yeah, I'm sure you hear it. People say it all the time. They call the police, and the police tell them, we can't do anything about that. We can't get into that. Why would that be? And what should you do if you hear something like that?
When it comes to a police officers play many roles. So I wouldn't advise the police officer, and the police officer should not basically turn somebody away, but their duty is to refer them to the necessary agency that is there to support them. So if it's a situation with social services, that's an agency that you have to refer the person to. But police officers are not supposed to turn persons away, but refer them to the relevant agencies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So Kendrick and Kendall, tell us about tonight, what we can expect, what format the vigil will take.
Well, we've been working in conjunction with the pastors in the community, and it will be prayerful. It will be prayerful. We have invited a lot of the families of the murdered victims, so you can only kind of imagine how emotional it's going to be. I think it's going to be a bit somber, but I think it's needed because, like I always tell people, a mother or a father should never have to bury their children. Our children should bury us. So in that light, Dwight, it's kind of hard. I can only assume what it should be, but in lieu of murders and these kind of things, the dynamics are so great. You can't really say, but definitely a somber moment tonight.
Yeah.
Mr. Dane, a question for you. I agree with you that it's important that we continue to speak out and do whatever we do so we don't get complacent. Yes, people say enough is enough, but we have to keep saying it and then putting action to it so it stays within the forefront, the consciousness of people's mind. Other than that, I know the prayer vigil is tonight, but are there any other initiatives beyond the prayer vigil that your community organization is working on or trying to put together?
And that's a very good question. As a matter of fact, my vice president, I would let him address that because that is exactly what he's working on at this particular time.
Okay, Kendall Lewis.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, guests. We are putting on the sense of community. We have to get back to, yes, it may be an old adage that was said even when we were growing up. It takes to raise a child. Know that over the years we have lost that sense of trust, that sense of communication and community. And so, yes, we go around where we even deal with our youths differently. We deal with each other differently. We put on events and try to rebuild and restore our community because it starts with us. And when you take these same initiatives within the community, these are people go out into other communities and the workplaces and the schools, and they carry these same things that have been entrusted to them, and they enact upon them in those areas. So yes, we know that it's not easy when you come down and talk about what we have to do, but it's what needs to be done is we have to get back to a close-knit community. We've been drawn apart by brokenness and, truth be told, mistrust and all of these things, and restoring all over again. And that's what we have to do.
Yeah, and there are others here with us, and feel free to jump in, folks. And Sergeant Coakley, how important is it for the police to be a part and be seen to be a part of events like this tonight?
Okay, with the police, we're basically supporting the Elizabeth States Association, and with this prayer vigil, it's a similar to growth. So we're trying to foster a relationship with the community and the shareholders so that we can work together to eradicate crime. So our whole goal is to basically work hand in hand so that we can address situations in the community.
Yeah. Right. Wow. All right. So again, this is tonight at 6. People, we can all be a part of it. We can just show up and be there. How long do we anticipate it's going to go on for?
Well, seeing that we time has changed, so 6 o'clock it's much darker.
Yeah.
So we hope that we're not there for no longer than 2 hours. We try to keep it, keep everything kind of tight and compact. But again, like we say, because of something that can be so highly emotional, you kind of gotta move the way to see exactly how it flows. But we don't hope to be there too long. We just want to get in there and allow for the impact to be felt. Right? This is very serious. I take this very, very serious. I've lost friends, and there's a particular brother that died. And I saw him, on social media now, we circulating all of these dead bodies on the ground. And, when I saw him on the ground, right, it's very difficult when this is someone I grow up with and break bread with. So that is very, very, very difficult to kind of see them on the ground dead. It's very hard. And I guess because of my age now, I kind of looking at life through different lenses and kind of seeing things differently. But that is that is very, very difficult to deal with. And like I said, we've lost so many young men. So this is very serious business.
Yeah.
This is very serious business.
So I want to hear from all of you. What would you say to somebody out there, as you say, like yourselves? I mean, who's lost loved ones to violence like this, hurting right now? What would you say to them?
Well, Dwight, to be honest, I do counseling and facilitation. There are 7 ways that persons grieve. And so, like my president said, we cannot allow ourselves to be desensitized because of it. So that's one. You have to deal with an emotional place, not for yourself to be desensitized. How are you going to allow the pain that you feel to be more of a growth and a nurturing process for you, because other persons are going through it. So you have to be able, it's not easy. Like Mr. President said, all of us grew up in Elizabeth Estates. We're a part of Elizabeth Estates. There isn't anyone that has passed or was murdered in Elizabeth Estates that we do not know. The feeling is there. It is like you being in the river or in the ocean and the wave pass. Every time you hear a murder from some place around the island, someplace around the world, that wave come right back again. And so you're looking at almost like what they would say, a pre-existent injury, something that occurs over and over, the feeling, the emotion, the best thing to do is to be there, be a sense of support, be a source of strength to a person, a listening ear. Because many persons would talk and say what they would say, but when they're speaking, you have to know where it's coming from. And then you have to be able to nurture that, even if just your presence alone. And so, yes, we're feeling it from a different place. We're feeling it even with all of the persons that passed in Camp Road and Beantown and in Elizabeth Estates, even the younger children. And so that's a pre-existing injury that's keep coming. So the candlelight visual, it's placed for those in Elizabeth Estates, but we will be remembering all of those throughout and the way that they went, because it touches a wider sense of persons and communities. It's our Bahamas on the whole that is being impacted negatively, almost like my president said, to bring a sense of desensitization upon our people. And that is not a place where we need to be, because it takes away the compassion, it takes away the drives, it takes away the tenacity, it takes away the resilience that the Bahamian people stands for in the way how they deal with things and the way how they deal with each other.
Yeah, very well said, Kendall Lewis there. One more time, remind us about tonight. Where exactly is it going to be in Elizabeth Estates, and what people need to do to be a part of this?
Well, it will be, it's the main park in Elizabeth Estates. Most people get it confused. It's not the park in the back of the police station. So it's the park on Trinidad Avenue, coming from Prince Charles Drive. There are 2 entrances to Elizabeth Estates. So the entrance between the clinic and the church, you just come and you just keep heading straight. There you will see it. Very, very large park. We'll be right there tonight setting up. Basically, we're setting up now. So by 6, we'll be kicking off. And Dwight, there's another thing I want to say. I want to appeal to parents in this country, particularly mothers. And talking to mothers, sometimes Dwight, mothers who have lost children to violence, sometimes they feel this sense of guilt, like they didn't do enough for their kids, or they feel like they failed. But I just want to say to the mothers out there that knew you did your best with your children. You knew you worked hard. You knew you tried to provide and do everything within your power to raise your children the right way. I just want to encourage you to know that at the end of the day, when these young men become adults, they make their own decisions. So why there are a lot of mothers that, let me tell you something, people cannot be mad. There's no pain like when a mother loses a child. So I just want to encourage all the mothers out there, just be strong. Once you did your best with your children, you just be strong. It's It's very difficult.
We're hoping that this is going to help to go a long way in curbing this violence. This is crazy what's happening in our country, and I appreciate you all for coming here to talk about it and doing this, just holding this vigil tonight. And again, everybody can be a part of this in Elizabeth Estates. 6 o'clock at the park in Elizabeth Estates. Kendrick Dames.
Also, before you leave, just a reminder that it will be streamed live on Facebook on the United States Association, Community Association.
All right, wonderful stuff.
In person.
Great stuff, Sergeant Coakley. Thank you so much, Kendrick Dames, Kendall Lewis, and to the others who were there who did talk this morning. Thank you all so much. Appreciate what you're doing, and we hope you have a good turnout tonight. Thank you. We're going to take a break for news headlines and be back with a lot more Morning Blend. Stay with us.
Let's work together. Oh, we must stop this crime and make life easier. We got to stop this crime. It is the only way. We have to stop this crime.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
And we are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner, and it's time for the Bahamas vaccination, the Bahamas COVID vaccination raffle. It's an amazing initiative with the U.S. Embassy. Hoping to encourage everybody to get vaccinated against COVID-19. And remember, you can very easily be a part of this. We've been giving away great prizes every day since September. And we've got more to go. All you have to do is be vaccinated, even partially vaccinated, and then register on vaxbahamas.com. Vaxbahamas.com. And hey, it could be your name that I call. So today, Laverne, we're giving away two prizes. We've got a case of Kalik. A case of Kalik. That's fantastic, I'm telling you now. A case of Kalik and Bahamas Waste Bin. Bahamas Waste Bin. So two great prizes today. Let's give away that case of Kalik first. Yeah. The winner of the case of Kalik, Catherine Dillette. Catherine Dillette. Kathryn Dillette. Dillette with the E on the end. That Dillette. Dillette. You are the winner of the case of Kalik, Catherine Dillette. Congratulations to you. And then there's the Bahamas Waste Bin. The Bahamas Waste Bin. The winner is Wentworth Johnson. Wentworth Johnson Jr. Wentworth Johnson Jr. Wentworth Johnson Jr. with Bahamas Waste Bin. Congratulations to you. Great prizes there. And again, it could be you. It could be you that we call. VaxBahamas.com. That's all you have to do to register. So,
Dwight, I just want to say it could be you who could win, but how come it's never me?
People were telling me that too, and lo and behold,
how come it's never me?
You just need patience. You just need patience, right? Someone said the same thing to me. You'll never call my name. And last week, her daughter won. So look at that. You see how it works? It could.
Well, I'm just declaring now. So next week Thursday, when I'm on the show co-hosting with you,
that wouldn't
I'm gonna pull a Kanye West on you.
I'll
pull a Kanye West, and I'm gonna be like, you know what? It's been 2 years since I've been coming to this thing, and if I don't win an award tonight, it's gonna be.
Oh boy! Okay.
I keep waiting for you to call my name.
That wouldn't be.
But congratulations to all the winners.
Yes, and all of us are winners if you're vaccinated, right? Let's look at it that way. How about that? No? Okay. But VaxBahamas.com will guarantee that somebody's going to win. So let's do that. All right, so that is it. We'll be back with more of these tomorrow, more to give away tomorrow. And it's time now for Morning Blend Business.
Let's celebrate. It's all right.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Thursday, November 11th, 2021. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan, joined by Laverne Gardner. And this morning, we are doing a business news roundup. There have been a lot of interesting things that I've wanted to talk about all of these. We didn't get to talk about one of them yesterday. We're going to get into that this morning. So we want to hear from you about some of these issues as well. And these will definitely impact your lives. So everything from the VAT bill finally reaching the House to, as we teased earlier in the show, a central bank inspector who had some interesting things to say about people who are complaining about bank fees. And you definitely want to stay tuned for that. All right, so let's begin with the VAT bill, though. Our Paige McCartney writing about this in today's Guardian Business section. Amendments to the Value Added Tax Act were tabled in the House yesterday that would allow for the reduction of VAT from 12% to 10% and minimize the number of exemptions and zero-rated items under the Principal Act. The Value Added Tax Amendment Number 2 Bill 2021 is scheduled to come into force on January 1st. It removes the zero-rated application from several items known as breadbasket items, including butter, margarine, bread, mayonnaise, mustard, grits, cheese, corned beef, canned fish, soups and broths, fresh milk, evaporated milk, condensed milk, rice, flour, tomato paste, cooking oil, baby formula, and baby food, powder detergent, soaps, sanitary napkins, and tampons, napkins, and napkin liners for infants. All of those items that were VAT-free, zero-rated items, they will now have VAT and at 10% beginning January 1st. Additionally, it removes the zero-rated application for medicines and medicinal drugs, the majority of which already attracted VAT. VAT was introduced at 7.5% in 2020 with very limited exemptions, but the Minnis administration increased VAT to 12% in 2018 as it attempted to close the deficit gap. Prime Minister Philip Davis vowed earlier this year to reduce VAT if the PLP won, which they are going to do. So, in addition, the bill also makes certain zero-rated services VAT exempt, including services related to the use of terminal or berthing facilities by commercial vessels and the storage of goods that have not been entered for home consumption, where the port of origin and the port of destination are not within the territory of the Bahamas, as well as the commission earned as a result of the supply of the Central Bank of the Bahamas' digital service. The importation of replaced or repaired goods will also be exempt from VAT. The bill seeks to add a limit on the exemption for the importation of goods by returning residents as a part of accompanied baggage to goods that fall within the residence duty exemption. That's interesting. Let's read that again. The bill seeks to add a limit to the exemption for the importation of goods by returning residents as part of accompanied baggage to goods that fall within the residence duty exemption.
I'm going to need somebody to break that part down.
The bill seeks to add a limit on the exemption for the importation of goods by returning residents as part of accompanied baggage to goods that fall within the residence duty exemption.
I don't understand that.
Someone was asking about this last week, and I see why they were asking about it now. Okay. Additionally, the bill adds financial services to the list of zero-rated professional services when the benefit or advantage of those serve Bahamas. Okay. So that's all happening there. Again, we've been talking about that quite a bit. But as you see, that moving forward, we've only got just under 2 months before this changes. And weigh in. Feel free to weigh in on it and on how you feel.
What I'm going to say, as I said before, the devil is always in the details. And so we need somebody to explain all of that. Because while we're here focusing on the fact that we've either reduced VAT but added VAT, then we get this in there as well, that people maybe don't realize until you travel, and then whatever this is, then you find out. So I don't know. Well, I need someone to further break that down. That's too many words for me there. Too many words being repeated. That it seeks to amount of exemption
for the importation of goods.
For the
so as in the number of things, so you can't.
It seeks to limit the exemption of goods that you import.
As part of your accompanied baggage.
Well, we understand the things that you purchase that you're bringing back.
When you bring it in, that you claimed you only spent $100
your
on.
exemption. Okay, let's not go there, Dwight. It's not about what we're declaring, okay?
Oh.
Stay focused.
Add a limit on the exemption for the importation of goods by returning. Well, isn't there already? You only get two, though.
Right. So are they saying that they're going to reduce that, and maybe you're only going to get one exemption for the year? Can we phone a friend? Can we phone somebody who?
If you're listening and you know what's going on here, call us and tell us what that's all about.
Clarify that, because we don't want to, I don't want us to say the wrong thing, and put that out there. And then tomorrow's show, it'll be the media giving wrong information and y'all don't do y'all job.
And people are shockingly quiet about that.
Right. I don't, maybe they're shockingly quiet about it because
they don't understand it.
They don't understand it. They weren't aware of it. I'm telling you, sometimes it's like smoke and mirrors, so we're all looking at the shiny object over there, not realizing other things are going on. So if anybody is out there listening and you can bring clarity to that section of it, what that means, that would be so helpful so we understand.
And it's so interesting.
Dwight, I thought you had all of these people, on speed dial.
No, well, that doesn't mean they accept the calls,
You call them quickly, it doesn't mean they're going to pick up.
Right. So, that's really interesting. That's coming up because I've been saying it for years that folks who might not travel that often or who do more importation through couriers should also be entitled to at least one exemption, because these are the people who are actually paying the VAT and the duty. Right. Because
I'm in support of that.
You can't hide what you are bringing in. So you're making lots of money off people who are bringing in things through couriers. And we should also get at least one little exemption a year.
Dwight, it sounds self-serving.
No, I mean, they should.
No, you already said we. You already said we.
Those folks.
Right. Dwight.
Those decent Bahamians.
And then, Dwight, I don't know. Do you have an issue? Because it seems like you keep harping on, like you're saying things like hiding for those of us who declare only $100. Like, what's the issue with that?
You know exactly what goes on there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. All right. So we'll get clarification on that one. We'll see and tell us what you think about it. Again, 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Right. Also in the news, this was in the Tribune yesterday, and when I saw it, I'm like, "What now? Who? What?" And then that sparked that texter who says, "Yes, that's right. When you text me and you put that word there, I do change it to darn, right?" But for dramatic effect, and so that you know that this is really something else. I read it exactly as it's printed.
I think you were just quoting it.
It was a quote.
It was a quote, right?
Right. So this is the headline, quote, "Own damn fault." All right, so here's the story. The central bank's top inspector yesterday, and this would be Tuesday then, said he had little sympathy for those complaining about bank fees since it was, quote, "their own damn fault if they are too lazy to switch to online banking." You heard that right? If you're complaining about bank fees, it's your fault because you're too lazy to switch to online banking. It's your own damn fault. Charles Luttrell, the regulator's head bank and trust company overseer, told BICA, the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants, he wasn't speaking to his friend on the side of the street or the reporter. It was at the actual BICA conference going on. He told them that probably 80% of the fee cost was generated by people's banking habits in preferring to conduct their financial business in person at commercial bank branches. Speaking during the Accountants Week seminars, he pointed out that Bahamians and residents need to better exploit the sand dollar, the central bank-backed digital currency, as well as online and digital banking, plus remote payment systems to reduce fee-related costs associated with conducting their financial transactions. Mr. Luttrell's blunt remarks came in response to a question that referenced Mia Mottley, the Barbados Prime Minister, who cited bank fees and recently threatening banks with legislative action if they did not increase their lending to businesses and individuals in Caribbean nations. Do you want to hear more on this? Yeah? All right. Let's get to it there then. So he says, quote, "Bank fees are a great thing for politicians to whinge about. Most banks would be happy not to charge those fees." Describing the long lines that have formed outside Bahamian commercial bank branches in the COVID-19 era, Mr. Luttrell added, quote, 90% of people in those queues would be better off doing online and electronic banking. Our banking habits impose costs on the banks that are reflected back in their fees. Probably 80% of the fees generated are the result of the choice of people in how they do business. I don't have a lot of sympathy for that. Asserting that a significant portion of bank fees were designed to cover costs associated with in-person banking at branches, he said, quote, "We're in the middle of a pandemic. Do your banking online. Do your banking on a mobile phone. Look at the remote payment systems and things like that. If people are too lazy to switch, then it's their own damn fault. Don't come complaining to us about fees when you could have switched."
Wow. There are a myriad of thoughts that I have here. Let me see how I can tie them together. Okay. One.
Okay. Well, while you get it together.
Yeah, because
let me tell
you, there is some truth to the fact that
he is not incorrect.
There is truth to the fact that there are a lot of things in banking now that you can do online. And I say that because I am an online banker. Dwight, if I could somehow figure out a way that my laptop could give me cash when I actually need cash, I would never drive to a bank.
Mm-hmm.
Every single transaction that I can do online, I do. Mm-hmm. So I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
Really bought into, and hey, we can do this to the point now where it's like when I can't do something online, I'm like lost. So like, how am I going to get this done?
Oh, I don't do business with you.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Or you walk into an establishment and people, they say, and they only take cash. I'm lost. I'm like, people still carry cash. I have to like bump dollars from people.
Now,
right?
here's the
But
thing. Here's the thing. So you see,
it's the way you say it. It's your
right,
message.
exactly.
It's that's what
exactly.
it is.
So
And just to say that people are lazy, that's the only reason.
and
you
your
know,
own blankety-blank fault. That's
right.
harsh.
It's the delivery of your message.
Now, I got to say this, and I shouldn't say this anyway, but I go to these ATMs.
But go ahead.
Occasionally I have to get cash, right? And so I go to the
Right.
ATM and I see these long lines. I'm confused, like, okay, wait, all of you all for the ATM? And everybody says,
Yes.
no. I'm like, wow. And I go in there and I do what I have to do, and I'm out in under a minute, and I come out, and I'm telling you now, I have this natural reaction to shake my head a little bit at the people in the line, because I'm like, what are you all doing? Why are you doing this to yourselves? This is insane. You don't have to be out here. And it's very bizarre. But I don't think this is the way to do it. People have some real fears. They've had bad experiences, and they want to deal with this in person for reasons.
Right. And so I don't think you should just label everyone who's not fully engaged in online banking as lazy. You're just too lazy.
Yeah.
I kid you not, this happened. I told you, I do online banking. I'd gone to make a deposit. Dwight, I don't even like to get out of my car. Anyway, so pulled up to the drive-through ATM, and of course the drive-through one is not working. That's another thing. You want people to do online banking and you want people to bank at the ATM, you got to keep the machines up. Okay?
Yeah, that is true.
But okay, that's aside. So I go in, I park, I get out, and I'm towing a line, and everybody who's on the line is actually doing online banking for whatever reason. 4 machines, like 2 was down. So it created a line. So I get in there because there's this older gentleman. He's standing like at the machine, because not all machines accept deposits. That's another thing. Okay.
Right. Well, that's true.
So, you have 4 ATM machines, but only one is configured to accept deposits. And the other one that's configured to accept deposits is the drive-through, but the drive-through one isn't working.
Oh, boy.
And I realized that he was taking a really long time in there. And, people are coming in. So me, being who I am, I walk in there and I go, are you okay? And this is an older gentleman, and he was so nervous.
Oh, my goodness.
He was like, he said they told me that I could make a deposit at the ATM, but I don't know how I'm supposed to do it. And so, I told him, I said, well, it's really easy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I could see his reluctance.
Yeah.
I had to stand there with him. I said to him, go on, I'll walk you through the steps, but I'll stay right here with you.
Yeah.
Because he was just not sure. And so you do have, and there was no teller or anybody inside out there giving him any instructions. But he was very nervous. He didn't know. He said, okay, do I feed the money in at one time? And I say, no, you can put it all in together. Then he was like, but how is it going to know how much? I said, it counts it. I'm like counseling him through this. And he was so kind. He said, I'm so happy you came in here. He said, because I just didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have people who want to try. You tell them to go ahead and try it or whatever. And maybe you showed them once, but they're not comfortable. And there's that. So their preference is to then go in, because at least I know I'll do it right. Because all my obligation really is to hand the money over.
Yeah.
There are just some people who struggle, who have a phobia, and they struggle with these kinds of things. So, it's unfair for you to just label everyone in your very public comments that I guess you didn't care that, okay, you're lazy and it's your fault, and don't come crying to me.
Yeah, callers, we'll get to you in a second. And I think that is part of it. He is speaking to an association, and so he might not have said that if you were speaking to a press conference or something. But in any event, he said it. But people are sending us messages about all the issues at the ATMs. They want us to use, as you said, Laverne, they want us to use the ATMs, but the ATMs often aren't working. There are no deposit envelopes. There are no, there are all kinds of glitches and silly things happening there. So
they
that's
have the
unfortunate.
tap feature, except the tap feature isn't working.
No. Oh, boy.
Like I thought it was my card, and then I traveled, and the tap worked fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so let's hear what you have to say about this. What do you make of his comments? Is it your own fault, or and are you lazy, or what's happening here? And what do you make of a central bank official saying things like that? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
All right. I only just started the radio, so I was hearing your comments, you and Laverne comments, so I caught you all at the beginning of this particular topic. And right away, one of the things I say is that you have a lot of people, particularly middle-aged, elderly people, who do not and will not use no computer to go no bank. Because I had a Grammy, and I have a Grammy. They go into the bank and they won't go to the teller to do their thing. Mm-hmm. They don't trust the computer. Number one, they ain't computer savvy and the rest of it. Just taking into consideration the world is advancing and technology is trying to help make things better. But to some people, that's making it worse. That was a good example Laverne gave. But when you talk about the bank fees, this would really cause me to call. The bank fees that gentleman that quote that you read, and he being so brazen, I think he wrong for that in the first instance. But again, these bank fees come long before this online banking. They were promoting online banking because I was one who used to raise hell about it. How in the world you want to charge me $15 for a check because it ain't the bank that the check from? That's one of the things. This is crazy. You see what I'm saying? What they doing? They know that they never used to get the monies that they used to get in the past. Granted, okay, I give them that there were a lot of delinquent loans and so forth where they used to make the money from. But Bohemians wasn't making the money, getting paid that they used to, and so they're not making the money that they used to get. And so now they ain't borrowing the money like how they used to. They ain't doing other things using the banking service how they used to. So the banks put on these fees. You charging me every month you charge me a fee because I don't have $300 minimum in the bank. You're going to charge me a fee because I have less than $300. But the people who got all the money, $300 million, you ain't charging them nothing. That's a bunch of garbage. These fees, them came long before they demand them talk about this thing. And then when you can make a comment like that, like Laverne said, the way you put your message forward, it's really not good. And that is
But
very
the challenge
bad,
with the banks,
you're
you're right. The way they apply the fees, that's controversial. But the fact that they have to have fees, I mean, that's how they have to have, right? So, but applying the way that example you gave, that's questionable. There's got to be a better way.
And then too, let's also take into consideration, and again, based on the comment, you're saying that this is your fault because you're too lazy. But in actuality, there are some things that you can only do at the ATM. It forces you to do online banking or to bank at an ATM. Because if your withdrawal is X amount, they send you to the ATM. Mm-hmm. They don't do it in the bank. So, you can't just take, just wash everything over, just a broad stroke of everything. Okay, the bank fees that you're complaining about, they're all because you won't do online banking. Really, it's like the caller just said, some of these fees were already in place. And then some of the decisions the banks make are questionable. Before online banking really became a major thing and there was a heavy push for it, one actually had a one transaction line. You only had one transaction, you go on that line, it moved a little quicker, and it helped people who, who just had that one transaction and So when you went in there, you went and you stand there and so I went into the bank and I was like, oh, lucky me. I'm the first person on this one transaction line. I'm going to be the first one. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And nothing's happening. Nobody is there. But I know sometimes that a teller maybe isn't sitting there, but somebody will come and get up, whatever. So I'm sitting there and after a minute or so, more than a minute of standing there, there was another employee who's walking past. And I said to them, the one transaction line. And she said, oh, we discontinued that.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I'm like, what?
Wow.
She said, yes. And I, of course, said, why? She said, well, we made a decision. These were the exact words. We made a decision to discontinue it because we found that more non-account holders were taking advantage of the service than account holders. I'm sorry, excuse me, what?
Wow. Oh boy. Okay, that's how that. It's crazy. We'll get to that call in a second. Someone says, Dwight, are you serious? He's correct. Clearly, Guardian Radio needs to lose 50% of its business so you can understand why people stand in line. Wow, that's extreme. I'm saying the part where he says that most of these people would do better if they did online or use the ATM. I mean, that is true. That is correct. It's absolutely true. Now, not about you people being lazy, fault entirely, right? That part we can't agree with or on, but the fact that most of the people who stand out on these lines don't need to be there and would do better if they went to the ATM or tried online banking. That is true. There's no running around it, but you want to wish this on us. Okay, so they go on to say, I don't really want Guardian Radio to lose business. They're doing it because they need their money today, not next week when the bank gets around to clearing the deposits. That's 80% of Bahamians, Dwight. They don't make big bucks like you, with lots of cash, reserve cash on their bank accounts. Yeah, speak it into existence. Yes, one day. Okay, I hear you. I can understand that. Sure, some people, but some of them, it's still not that. It's going to be, they wanted $25.
The other thing is, if we all started banking the way that we should, so then is he saying that bank fees are going to be eliminated?
No. He's not saying
thought so. Okay, then.
I think we have another call. Do we have another call? Good morning, caller on Morning Blend. Business. Yes? No? No? Yes? Okay.
Hello?
There we go. Good morning, caller on the air.
Yeah, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Ms. Gardner, C. Allen Johnson.
Morning.
First let's say that if you put in context who he was speaking to, I think the guy was absolutely correct. Here it is, he says. He says, that online banking has been here since the early 90s. Okay? This is not like, something new. From the early 90s. And so, maybe 40 years later, we're still thinking about digitizing banking. But if you expand that from who he was talking to, because those people in the room were the bankers and the accountants, and it's their responsibility to adopt technology. I'm scared to say new technology because it's 30-year-old technology. But it was their responsibility to adopt, enhance, and move towards it. They are the bankers and financial services who drive the industry. And so they were depending on the parasitic nature of the way we did person to person. So, but if you expand that outside of that to a country that spent $3 billion in the same 30 years or less on digitizing, you would think that, again, in a country that's the most digitally prepared country in the world, you would think that we would have moved there. Why? Because when you say, Ms. Gardner, when you say banking fees will go away, they will. And that's the problem with what's called with a digitized banking structure, because from peer to peer and when you're dealing for transferring money or payroll directly, is because it isn't just the people walking to the bank. It seems as though we keep locking ourselves into the bank, that the bank is the only place where this digitization has to take place. No, small businesses, it has to take place inside of regular businesses. It has to take place across the country. We are a small town in the United States and other major industrial cities, right, for the entire Bahamas population. But it's like we think we are like digitizing Singapore, that we got 6 million, 8 million people to do this to. But what it would do, it would revolutionize the way we do business. Because, and Ms. Gardner, you said you need cash. In a digitized environment, you need cash for what? Because nobody will necessarily want to take it from you, because they too would be digitized. Have you heard about Alipay and the rest of them? 1 billion people who practically is not on anything. They buy food, clothes, they do everything with it. That is what digital banking and financial services is about. And so we keep looking and saying, if we do this part of digitized, no, half pregnant does not exist. Either you're pregnant or you're not. And that's the problem, is we keep coming up with hybrids and variation of what digital is supposed to be. Either you're digital or you're not. You're not half digital. When you go to government, it just doesn't work that way. So what we just have to do is have a conversation in context of what digitization is and what digitalization is and utilization of these services, and maybe we'll get it right.
Yeah, maybe. Thanks a lot. Definitely a campaign, a public education campaign, something is needed.
Absolutely.
To help people like that poor old man that you helped there living such a good.
Well, let me
good
say
Samaritan.
this. If I'm one of those who's all for online banking, and like I said, everything that I can do online, anything that I can do from my mobile app, I do. So can my fees be waived then? Can on a case-by-case basis?
Or at least give you a little credit or something,
Or
right?
give me
Put a little,
something?
right, for being one of the adopters.
Yes,
Give you-
I embrace that wholeheartedly.
Yes,
I
and-
know people who are still afraid to order online.
What?
Yeah.
They live here? Okay.
Well, maybe you want to have a conversation with your friend.
Wow. Let's we'll take a break and be back with more of our business news roundup on Morning Glen Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
To Las Vegas or Monaco and win a fortune in a game. My life will never be the same. Monday.
At Fidelity, the holidays are all about family, spending time with loved ones, and being thankful for the little things in life. Worrying about bills should be the last thing on your mind, especially during the holidays. Let Fidelity help you get your bills under control. Fidelity can also get you started with a real savings plan that actually pays you interest. The only thing you need to think about is what you will do with the savings in your pocket this Christmas. Now that's what I'm talking about. Fidelity Bank is here for you this holiday season because you are family, and family is important to us.
Boy, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, boy, just a hard day. What?
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and gritty.
We need to start joking about everything, you know. This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Boy, what's serious? Tell me.
All right, well, today, boss gave us, boy, one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you know that ain't right. You know government contracts ain't supposed to go that way.
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the papers. Then he send me to meet his boy downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know I's a real man, but he drunk all my life in Jonkono.
No way. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower, and I ain't no snitch. I still white there, you know.
But ain't nobody can know it's you. All you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the Crack Crime Bahamas app. They don't ask about you, and your call goes straight through to Miami, so nobody know you is. And if you text, your message get mixed up like Kong Salad.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. The Water and Sewage Corporation advises its customers that the corporation will commence disconnection of all outstanding accounts beginning Monday, November 15th, 2021, in both New Providence and the Family Islands. Customers with outstanding accounts and financial agreements are requested to ensure that their accounts and financial agreements are brought up to date as soon as possible to avoid an interruption in service. Should you need to speak with a customer representative, please visit their Mall at Marathon location or the corporation's head office on University Boulevard between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. The corporation's website, pay by phone by dialing 302-5630 or any cash and go, Omni Flash Cash or Sun Cash locations.
Shanae's Chesapeake Road Christmas Wonderland is open under the big tent. Get your Christmas trees in pink, frosted, green, or white in a variety of sizes. Musical Christmas LED and laser lights, a large variety of tree ornaments, lighted angels and Santa tree toppers, bright and lively colored Christmas balls in all sizes, garlands, wreaths, tree skirts, stockings, and lots more. Add flowers, picks, and decorative mesh to brighten up your home or office this holiday season. And don't forget the toys at Janae's Chesapeake Road. Check our selections online at www.janae's.com. This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. The central bank is preparing to introduce sand dollars into family island communities and also implement a sand dollar academy to enhance buy-in from businesses and financial institutions. The bank revealing this information in a press statement noting that it's been 1 year since the rollout of Bahamas' digital currency. Central Bank Governor John Rawls says training companies in the use of sand dollars could begin as soon as the first quarter of next year. According to the press statement, there are now $302,785.04 worth of sand dollars in circulation, 28,003 digital wallets using them, and about 845 merchants accepting them. Rawls says that the central bank continues to improve the interoperability and functionality of the world's first central bank digital currency. The Bahamas has the third highest number of tourism businesses in the region employing business continuity plans, according to a World Bank report. That report, which is designed to be a guide to prepare the Caribbean for a new generation of shocks, also reveals that about 65% of tourism-related companies in the country have some sort of asset loss insurance plan in case of natural disasters. Business continuity plans became a buzzword early on in the COVID-19 pandemic, and now in the conversation about climate change, which is what the World Bank report is focused on. The term is associated with facing the shock of a natural disaster. And the release of provisions following last year's increase due to COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in a more than 90% FINCO over the same period during 2020. In the BISIX listed companies recently released financial statements for the 9-month period ending July 31st. Its chairman, Robert Johnston, saying that despite this improvement, the bank still registered lower interest revenues. Net interest income for the 9-month period was $26.1 million, and total income was $27.5 million, compared to $28.7 million and $30.2 million, respectively, during the same period in 2020. The bank's performance is a turnaround from the 64% loss it reported in the first quarter financials in January, as the pandemic's impact raged on at the start of the year. Read more about it in today's Guardian business section. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISIX from Wednesday, your market movers: Bank of the Bahamas moving 1,546 shares, down or up 17 cents rather to 236. Commonwealth Bank moving 24,050, up 5 cents to 250. Bank moving 1,500, up 4 cents to 1130. Consolidated Water down 3 cents to 225. Emira Incorporated up 7 cents to 1154. The BISIX All-Share Index closing at 2,109.87, up 9.86. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Monday,
And we are back to Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with Laverne Gardner on this Thursday morning. We are doing a business news roundup. We're talking about a lot of the issues in business news and the issues. And we'll get back to your call in a second. And you can call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us. This person says here, the central bank remarks are offensive, insulting, and says they are totally out of touch with Bahamians, and all they need to do is resign. This is a sad day in our country. Okay. This person says here, there are many issues with the ATMs, and they've gotten worse just recently. One, the central bank recently issued new $100 bills. Number two, ATMs disperse these new notes but are not yet configured to accept the new notes. Is that right? And three, cashless banks not able to control ATM deposit. Four, have to drive to a cash bank to change bills and deposit. Are they really trying to make it easier? Should this not have been synced first? Those are some interesting points there.
Wow. Yeah, very interesting, Dwight. And it's true with the new $100 bill.
They don't accept it.
There's a bank, it doesn't accept it. It does not accept the new $100 bill. And so that's the thing. I think with his comments, even though, to see Alan Johnson's point that the audience that he was speaking to I think in his statement oversimplified it as if to just say the only reason it almost gives the impression that the only reason there's so many banking fees is because people aren't doing online banking, taking advantage of sand dollars or other payment forms. And I don't think that that's the only reason we're being assessed so many fees recently. And so it's an oversimplification to my mind of the issue, because if we sit down and have an honest mind that there are other reasons as well. Yeah. Does that mean that we shouldn't embrace online banking? Well, like I said, I'm a big proponent for it. And yes, all that we can do, if we can embrace this and just go ahead, that's great. But I don't think that's the only reason why we have bank fees.
Mm-hmm. All right, we've got a lot of calls and a lot of messages to get to, and another point I wanted to get to, another business story. But caller, good morning. You're on Morning Blend Business. Hi, good morning, caller. Are you there? All right. What about the other call? Good morning, caller. Okay. Do you have the other one? No. Yep. I hear something. Okay.
Hello?
Oh, there you go. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I'm glad this topic is going on this morning. I'm afraid of these computers and these banks. Let me break it down. Some people like me. You ever be walking in your house and can't remember which room you was going to? Or you driving somewhere and you can't remember where you was driving? And with these computers, if you remember, your savings could be wiped out. You don't have no recourse. The bank is going to tell you, you press the number. But your mind could be so far one day, you miss and press the wrong number, and all your money is gone. That is why I want a receipt, because I can go back and change it if it's
It
wrong.
often asks you if you're sure. It asks you,
Even though, listen to me, you know what I'm saying? People say they sure. Listen, my phone home, because I'm still up with the phone, the handheld phone now. I can't remember my home phone number. Somebody asked me. So the mind, you got to remember, the mind is already programmed, and they're trying to deprogram you and reprogram you. It's going to take another generation. Because people
caller,
like me,
with those
I
issues
don't
you
like
mentioned, when you go to the teller, you may forget what you're going to do. So you've got a different issue, right? So what difference will that make? But I hear you, and you have to get. It's easy to say get over it, but you do have to kind of.
And to the caller's point, there are people who have those legitimate fears that I may press the wrong button and I may lose my money. Some people have that feeling. It's not like you said, it's not as simple as that. It isn't a matter of you just going to and all of your money gets wiped away. But people do have that fear. And, that adds to the reluctance of doing online banking. But I will say this to the caller and anybody who shares those kinds of fares. The transactions at the ATM and online don't work that way, where typically with one click, you ruin everything. There's a cancel button.
Yeah.
And you can press that at any time and it will spit out your
Absolutely.
ATM card.
And the banks will tell you with online transactions and even at the ATM, though it's easier to, maybe not the ATM so much, but with the online transactions, you can trace these things there. There's receipts there, things that you could, right? It's easier to do that than with cash, right? So there are pros and cons for everything. Let's take this call really quickly. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Hey, Dwight. Good morning, and good morning to everybody.
Hi, morning.
The last call represents a large portion of the country that may not be able to make this digital pivot really quickly. But I'm fearful of Sand Dollar because the money will be in my phone, and every time I give $1 to somebody, others will know. And that will, it's a good thing. It'll get rid of all the sweetheart business. But getting serious now, you will not have any digital online banking or digital online currency unless, what I said for 25 years, you have affordable electricity, sustainable electricity, because if the light's out, you won't be able to transfer your money. You know the conundrum we're going to have? And it is an outright insult to take away my cash, but you haven't prepared me digitally. And when this happens with the digital currency that's all tracked, and they know every dollar you spend, and they can tax you because it's there, that's when people are going to look for unregulated Bitcoin. Have a good day, Dwight.
Scaring people down, Graham. I don't know if it needed to be that scary, but okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let me read these really quickly. Someone says here, I have online banking, and there are months when I have to avoid it like the plague, but some months when money is low, I just got paid and the payment is due today, and I can't wait 2 days for the online payment to be processed. So where do you people live? It's not only education, it's a whole range of issues. All right. Another person here says FinCo customers don't have the luxury of being online. Additionally, some stores do not accept debit or credit cards, like the large water company. Which one? Additionally, RBC would charge me for breathing if they could, so it's not a matter of being lazy. Old customers do not trust the computers, and many ATMs are not consistently working. It's a matter of everyone being on the same page and making service efficient and effective. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We can encourage, and that's the thing, and that's what we first talked about. You're encouraging people to do online banking. You're encouraging people to go to the ATM and bank at the ATM, but you don't necessarily have all of the features that they need. And of course, there are instances where you may need, I guess, instant access to your cash. And so you may still have to go in there, So this isn't a perfect system. By no means is this perfect. I did, and this is my last story. I attempted to.
I gotta make it really quick.
Yeah, I attempted to, and this is for online banking. I attempted to do something. What is it when you needed to pay? Anyway, I needed to pay something in Canada. And so, the feature was on there, and I filled out everything that I needed to fill in, and I was great. And then I'm still seeing the money on my account, and I'm wondering 2 days later, because I did this because it said you could do it online, only to be told, oh, no, you have to come in.
Oh, boy. Wow. Yeah, a lot of banks have to get their act together so that people, as Mr. Latrell says, stop being lazy. Wow. Okay. Really quickly, this is interesting. We're going to have to do a whole show on this one. This is another issue I want to get to. But income tax not on the table. Michael Alkitis addressing the BICA, the same Accountants Week seminar. This was a hot week for BICA. Says that income tax is not on the table, although he appeared to leave open the possibility of replacing business license fees with a corporate version. That's interesting because we had heard before that there were going to be studies on everything, on what the outcomes would be if they tried this or that, but not on the table at this point. We'll find out more about that means soon. But hey, that is Business News Roundup on this Morning Blend Business. Laverne Gardner, thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure. Dwight, don't forget, we have homework. We need to find out what that wording means.
Yes, we're going to work on that one, definitely. Yeah. And we'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.